is Vipin Maini. Time for our next video, and this one is we're going to talk about how you understand your current behaviours towards adversity. So before we can talk about making changes and becoming more resilient, it's really important for all of us to understand how we currently behave during adversity. And once we have understood how we currently behave and assess if that is working and what are the shortcomings of that, then we can make changes. What I want to do is just talk about 2 or 3 questions that I want to ask you to answer yourselves, to give you an idea, so that you can answer and to reflect. That'll give you an idea, and then hopefully that'll give you some insights, and then we can start making changes thereafter. So the first question I want to ask is, do you ask for help when you need it, or do you try to deal with everything on your own? This is the big mistake I made. I mentioned it in my introductory video. Whatever problems I face, whatever adversity, dealing with the heart attacks, who cares? It's only a physical thing. No, it's not a physical thing. It's a massive mental thing. But I made the huge mistake of thinking I don't need anyone else. I am so strong and independent. I'm me. I can deal with it. It was a big mistake. So let me turn this question around for you guys. When you need help, do you ever ask for help? Do you need help? Or do you try and deal with everything yourself? And one of the reasons people don't ask for help, and I admit, I hold my hand up, that's me, definitely in the past, is I didn't want to admit, and some of it is, and for reasons to do with masculinity, my cultural heritage. If you ask for help, you're seen as weak and vulnerable. Personally, it's a sign of great strength to ask for help. But admitting and being vulnerable is not weak. We tend to think, and I used to think before my heart attacks, I train in the gym 3 times a week. I'm not going to get a heart attack. I'm invulnerable. No, it happens to all of us. It doesn't matter. You're not doing anything wrong. These things happen. Adversity can strike. We need help sometimes, and we're all vulnerable at some point in our lives. And I think it's a really important fact to realise that, and it's an important part of being resilient to recognise that you need to ask for help, and we all do feel vulnerable at times. Second question I want to ask yourself: when things go wrong, who do you blame? What's your first automatic instinct? Do you blame yourself? Do you blame somebody else? Who do you blame when things go wrong? Is there someone else to blame? Now, again, this is all part of being resilient in terms of the way you think. What is the first automatic reaction? Those of us who are not resilient, they start to catastrophize. And part of that process is they automatically blame themselves in the first instinct, that this has happened and it's all my fault. It's all your fault. Who else's fault could it be? And they don't think that there are logical reasons that things have happened other than the fact that it's all down to them. Another question for you. Do you have any strategies and ways that you manage your stress? Do you just let stress overwhelm you? Again, what I would like to do during the course of these video series, is to show you that there are ways and strategies that you can practice self-compassion and develop habits that help you mitigate and deal with stress. Let me summarize this section by reminding you the importance of self-awareness. So I've given you 3 examples of questions which will lead you to reflect and understand how you currently behave. And they, in turn, the answers that you give yourselves, and be honest, those answers will tell you, give you a flavour of your resilience. But we can ask, these are just 3 samples, and 3 examples of questions. There's many more, and I think one of the beauties of resilience and becoming more resilient rather, is that the quality of the questions you ask yourselves along those lines gives you a good idea of who you are currently and how you behave, and I bet you have a good idea yourself already once you've answered those questions, and I bet you can think of 3 or 4 more questions at least that'll tell you whether you're resilient or not at the moment. So I would encourage you just to go and just ask questions of yourself all the time, to explore your behaviors, not in a non-judgmental way, by the way. Again, I asked you, do you blame yourself? Things go wrong. There's no right or wrong. I'm trying to understand. We're trying to understand your current levels of behavior. So it's well worth spending time understanding, why did I behave in this way? This happened, something bad happened, or I behave in this manner, but why? Why do I behave like this? And I'll talk about this further actually, and one way of doing that is through journaling, so I will refer to that later on, and the beauty of journaling. But one way is just to ask yourself and then write about it, what your feelings and emotions are.